Denver 7 News at 8 o'clock on Local 3. A deadly tornado has hit New Orleans, and now daylight is giving us a better picture of the widespread, extensive damage, and cleanup is just getting underway.
This is going to be a long haul.
A school superintendent is selected, the sole finalist who will lead Colorado's third largest district into its next chapter after months of controversy.
How political it's gotten, which is disappointing because that's that's not what we want to model for our kids.
Also, as President Biden prepares for new sanctions against Russia, Ukrainian refugees are sharing their stories of arriving here in Colorado.
If people want to come here or to stay, and it can take some time, I'm very happy that we're in a position as a state where we are very welcoming.
Millions have already fled Ukraine, and they are showing incredible strength as these women especially are embarking on an uncertain future here. And they are talking with a Colorado Congresswoman. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. President Biden heading to Europe right now, in fact. We'll get to that in a moment. First, looking outside from our live Mile High cam. It's a cooler start to the day, but the big headline today is going to be the wind once again, Lisa.
It got really gusty yesterday. If it's trash day today, be careful. By the time you get home, that trash can may be down the street. The winds are going to pick up here. We're likely going to see gusts this afternoon along the Front Range, anywhere from 40 to about 50 miles per hour. Now, as far as temperatures go, 50s today, 60s tomorrow, even warmer this coming weekend. So we do have some really pretty weather on the way. Right now, 35, so we're just above freezing here in Denver. You can see what little snow we saw earlier in the week now melted off. Those winds are at about 10 to near 30 miles per hour, and we're seeing temps that are climbing well to near about 50 degrees by noon. It'll also be right around that point that we start to see some gustier conditions. Highs today anywhere from 50 to about 58 here in town. Denver's going to be at right around 56, closer to 60 down over the southeastern corner of the state. More 40s than 30s in the central mountains today. The mountains are really going to see a nice big spring warm up this weekend. We'll take a look at that, and I'll show you how the winds are going to die down here in the next 24 hours coming up on our Super 7 Day, Jason, in just a few minutes.
And the wind is not the only issue for us here this morning. It's the sunshine, and that's been a really big problem for us, and it's really affecting southbound I-25. Look at this, from University down to Colorado Boulevard. There's the Steel Street Bridge right there going all the way past Evans, so the southbound side really heavy, and it's because we have that section that goes east here on I-25 right through that little section of University. Take a look at the overall drive, and you see a lot of little dots here and there. Lincoln, Yosemite, one of the latest crashes, 56 in Havana up there to the northwest east side of town, and we still have that railroad work happening over there on 287, closing it down in Broomfield between Miramonte and Dillon Street. I'll give you some details on that for you coming up. You see a lot of that stop and go traffic to the south side of town. So even C470 and 6th Avenue have been affected by that sun glare this morning.
Breaking overnight, the third largest school district in the state has a new superintendent. The vote to name Erin Kane as the sole finalist came after hours of public comment at last night's board meeting.
Denver 7's Colette Bordelon joins us live this morning because, Colette, this has been a heated hiring process since the beginning, and more than 100 people signed up to speak their minds about it.
A long meeting last night, that's for sure. And in that same meeting where the board voted to extend that offer to Erin Kane, who's been the longtime favorite for the superintendent position, they also voted to hire attorneys to potentially prep them to defend in a lawsuit regarding open meeting laws that's related to the controversial firing of Corey Wise. He was the former superintendent in that position. Now, Wise's attorneys are requesting any and all communications within the district that relate to Wise or his firing. Right now, Kane is the executive director of Schools for American Academy, a public charter school with 3 campuses. She's also served as the interim superintendent for the Douglas County District before, from 2016 to 2018. At the beginning of the month, during her public interview, she pledged to execute the will of the board, change the culture of the district, and empower teachers. When the new majority on the school board took over, there were allegations their decision to fire Wise was politically motivated. Protests in support of Wise by teachers, parents, and students swept through the district, but Kane says she doesn't see the need for political parties in school leadership.
We can't change the conflict that's in our world or in our country, but I think we can work right here in Douglas County if we all work together to listen to each other, understand each other's concerns. And I would be privileged to lead bridging that divide. I do think we can absolutely bridge the divide and move forward for the thing that we all have in common. Our common cause is and always has been our students.
That was Kane speaking directly to the board right after the vote last night. But we also talked with parents who aren't happy with the board's decision, specifically the way they say they went about it. They say that's nothing that they want their kids to learn.
I'm not as confident in her ability to run the school district in the long term as I would be with the other candidate.
Kane was going up against Danny Windsor. He's the executive director of the Parker region of Douglas County School District. Kane ultimately beat out Windsor, of course, but some school board members argued that Windsor would have been the less divisive choice of the two. Live this morning, Colette Bordelon, Denver 7.
Thank you, Colette. Let's turn now to some breaking news. Take a look at these heartbreaking images. We know one person has died after a tornado ripped through New Orleans overnight. And with daylight out now, officials are taking stock of massive destruction in the tornado's path. This is a live look at the area. Several homes are completely destroyed. ABC's Will Carr has the latest from Louisiana.
Overnight, a terrifying tornado touching down just outside of New Orleans, killing at least one person. As the massive twister moves in, with lightning electrifying the sky, the tornado seen from the Mississippi River behind that cruise ship. In St. Bernard Parish, with his house shaking, Leo Gonzalez screaming for his kids to get to safety.
They got a tub, threw the mattress over them. I went back outside to make sure that it was going to pass, and it passed.
The damage widespread, homes shredded, buses tossed, this church turned to rubble.
Fire crews are going down this block home by home looking for survivors, and you can see the destruction here. That car is flipped over. The garage on this home is destroyed.
Tragedy striking a community that's still reeling from Hurricane Ida last August.
I can't believe that the people in St. Bernard are going through something like this once again.
This morning, survivors like Gonzalez are grateful to be alive.
It was a hell of a thing. I've been through a lot of things, but I ain't been through this.
We spoke overnight with Tony Belt and Brooke Lobby, who's 7 months pregnant. The couple hunkering down in a bathroom as the tornado hit.
If it had happened any other way, if she would have been sitting on her bed, it would have been devastating.
In Starkville, Mississippi, the fast-moving line of storms taking down trees on the campus of Mississippi State University. And this morning, we're hearing for the first time from the 16-year-old driver of that pickup truck that was tossed in a tornado on a Texas highway, spinning on its side, then amazingly landing upright. Riley Leon able to drive off.
I wasn't scared like that much, but yeah, it was like a shocking moment for me.
Wow, incredible video. Here in Colorado, victims of the Marshall Fire have been waiting months for debris removal to begin. Now Boulder County has approved the contract with the company that will be in charge of that process. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us in the newsroom. And Christian, we finally have a timeline of the next steps in this.
We do, and we know that people have been waiting for this so they can finally start rebuilding. Marshall Fire victims can soon expect to see arborists, inspectors, and other staff getting their properties ready for this cleanup. The work will take about 1 to 2 weeks before heavy machinery moves in to clear everything out. And once this program starts, it will last about 4 months. Commissioners also approved a recommendation to bring in another company, Tetra Tech, based in Denver, that will perform soil sampling after debris removal is done to make sure there are no hazardous contaminants like heavy metals on these properties. And if all goes according to plan, the main contractor, DRC, is still hoping to have the cleanup done by the end of July. And the contract total is around $60 million. Boulder County will also host an online community meeting on March 29th to answer any questions about advanced prep work and scheduling. Live in the newsroom this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Thank you, Christian. A major Reproduction Rights Act is making its way through Colorado's legislature. What its passage could mean for more women. Plus, bike lanes were supposed to make a Denver neighborhood safer, but those who push for the change say the design is causing more harm than good.